The NAR situation does not affect me at all. If you're a great listing agent and you're doing the right thing for your client, people will come to you.
I'm here today with Alton Jones. Alton, I want you to explain to anybody listening right now, how in the world did you sell a home for 0% listing commissions? Can you tell our audience?
Yeah, it's actually pretty simple because I just asked a simple question. And that is I market to different people all over, whether it's on the internet, Facebook, and as well as people who knew me from the past, whether they're family, friends, coworkers, or past clients. And so one of the people from my past contacted me, actually two contacted me in the same week, believe it or not. And both, I set an appointment in that weekend, one on a Saturday, one on a Sunday. And I went to meet both these gentlemen at their properties to determine how I can help them, because it's really about approaching how can I help them. I don't think they were desperate, but they really were concerned about getting their house sold. And I said, if I can sell your house for you at 0% commission, can you think of any reason why you wouldn't want to do that? Explore that. And I shut up, wait for answer. And then all of a sudden, they said, the eyes lit up saying, you can sell my house for 0% commission. I said, I will not only sell your house for 0% commission, I will show you how you can make more money selling your house for 0% commission and net more than you would if you was to list it on a traditional way and pay a commission. You'd make more selling at 0% commission than selling it with paying a commission at a full asking price. They says, well, nothing, let's give it a shot. So both those gentlemen signed a listing agreement that weekend, and I went to work, get it on the MLS, take photos, professional photos, of course, and ended up contacting Easy Offer Platform to get it on their platform so we can get it set and get all the ground rules and everything set up and signing the addendums. So that's basically how I got it. It was so simple. Asking the simple question, people can give you a simple answer. And why would you want to pay 5 or 6% commission when you don't have to? And you can give them still the same full real estate services that if a client was paying you 6% commission. So just because they're paying 0% commission does not mean that you're going to lack on services and things that you're going to do, such as photos and staging and open houses and marketing around the property to other homeowners in the area to get folks to the open house. So that's how we started and got
Do you,
the listing agreement.
were they interviewing? Do you know if either of them were interviewing other people? Because you said they contacted you, right? It seems like they might have had a moment where they were kind of like, well, it's go time. We got to call these people.
I think one or two were looking, but I think one of them had known me from the past, realized what I can do, and we had a relationship where I knew about real estate one way or another because I'm an investor as well, and they trusted that I know what I'm doing when I'm buying and selling houses. So they said, "Well, you're an agent too. Can you help me?" So I said, "Sure." I said, "But here's what I'll do. I would only do your listing if I could sell your house for 0% commission."
Sounds like a great offer.
Yeah, I made them an offer that they could not refuse.
That's awesome. Well, you get the offer, the ink dries on your listing agreement, and you get the listing up on the Easy platform. What besides taking the listing photos, what did you do to market this?
That's a great question. So the first thing I did, I took the listing on a weekend, and I think I launched it. I took about a week to get the photos and everything ready for those properties. And I did 2-for-1 basically, because I had to get my photo guy out there to do both properties. And we're just going to particularly talk to the one property that we have in escrow right now. The other one's still on the market, but we ended up getting the photos. Took about 5 days to get that done. I launched it on a Friday, and this was a property that had tenants in it. It was a house that's a fixer. It was in bad condition. It had 6 or 7 people living in the property at the time, renting out rooms. And the place was a horrid mess. It was a dilapidated junk all around the property. So it was not really ready to show. So we could not do interior photos of the property, but we could do exterior photos. So we highlighted the benefits of the aerial photos, what's around the area, front, rear, side, and for those area photos and ground level photos too for the exterior. Again, professional photos. Then what we did was we put together a postcard campaign for Just Listed out there. And then I put a property website for just that property itself. I did an open house. But because we had tenants in the property, it was on a Friday, and I did not show that house until a week and a day after being on the market. A week and a day, one showing, one time for 3 hours. That's it. Because again, it was tenant occupied. So I had very limited access to it. Although the moment it hit the market, I think within a half an hour, we got our first offer on the platform, already. And then it took about a few more days before we got a second offer. But it got down to we had the open house on the following Saturday, which is again a week and a day. And then it rained that day. And it was like scheduled rain on the Saturday from like 11 to 2. That was the scheduled opening. So I said, I convinced my daughter after paying her some money to come out and help me do the registrations, right? She's like, I don't work for free no more, Dad.
Good.
You
Teach
gotta
her
pay me.
well.
So her and I brought my wife out there, who's a real, I call her the watch commander. She's the one that handled a lot of the making sure that people were greeted in. So it was just us three at this open house. And I only printed up 50 flyers. I'm thinking, okay, 50 flyers, I get 50 people to come. That's a win, right? Literally, I put out signs on the open house. I got there an hour and a half early to put out about 45 signs in the neighborhood, about a 2 square mile radius. The moment I got to the property, because I did it in the outskirts, working my way into the property. And what I did was, and again, now the postcards are already out. The neighbors know the postcards are out there. So they know
How
about
many postcards did you send out?
I think I sent 1,500 in the
1,500?
area. 1,500. It was an open house postcard. So people knew it was an open house that day. So I ended up getting there to the property. The moment I arrived at the property, there were 30 people waiting out in their cars. We were there
So you
maybe
know it
20
was from the
minutes early.
postcards.
Right. We were there 20 minutes early just to get the front of the house, everything ready, make sure everything is set, and the tenants were out of the house. Did that, 30 people waiting. I had to set up my outside table because, again, it's raining and it's really compact inside. So we couldn't set up inside. So we knew we were going to set up outside. But I didn't really count on the rain being as much as it was going to be. And I'm thinking, okay, low attendance, thinking that. In the first 45 minutes, we had over 100 people at the walkthrough. On the first 45 minutes, and I did a video on that too, showing the people coming in on Facebook Live. I did a Facebook Live just to show my team and the people in my sphere, hey, come on out to the open house. We got a lot of folks, things happen. And we did that for 3 hours. However, by the time we ended the showing, and there was a lot of people, probably at least 75 people who came that had no agent, that had no representation whatsoever. And then the other half were like maybe agents that came with their clients previewing the property. We ended up with 175 people at that showing within that 3 hours. We actually went over by half an hour and we finally had to shut it down because people were coming out of the woodwork. I think they not only saw the marketing, but they also saw the signs that drew them from the freeway,
Then the
right? Because I
crowd,
did the
if they
freeway
were
exit
local and they saw all
local.
these cards,
Yeah, the neighbors were like, what is going on at that house? The house was in a horrid condition. Bad. It was not like showroom ready. So at the end of the day, that was a Saturday. And I still had people calling me, can I see the house on Sunday? I said, nope. It was one time. That was it. 3 hours. You can't get it. You couldn't even convince and make up a game to convince me to let you into that house. And so we did that one showing, one time. That was it. And then Monday came where it was countdown, Monday at 1:30 p.m. And I tell you, folks, in that last half hour, it was just invigorating to see how the bids were coming in. We went from, I think the day before we had maybe 10 bids on the platform the day before. That day, in the last half hour, you knew who really wanted that house. It was a knife fight. You start seeing people were jumping up 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. And we went from 550 when we listed the property. Our first bid was 553. And then we ended up with $613,000 on the platform, which extended the time and for about maybe 10 minutes from the original shutdown, extended about 10 minutes. And we ended up with 33 bids on the platform. And we had outside the platform, we had 3 people who submitted offers because they don't follow direction, of course. They submitted offers, and those offers was because they didn't include the premium. So they were those, and I told agents, make sure you submit your offers on the platform, your bid on the platform, because the seller's not going to look at anything outside that realm. But we still accepted it. I told the seller about it, but they were just so low they weren't even. So we looked at the offers and we looked at the top 6, and the highest price offer wasn't the offer that we went with because it's also based on the terms. What terms? Is it cash? Is it a loan? Is it because we have tenants? Are they doing no contingencies? Are they doing zero contingencies? So after looking at all those 33 bids, we looked at the top 6 and we selected out of the top 6, 3 that were more apropos to what the client, and the client chose one that we ended up at $611,500. What the person somehow, some way didn't have an agent. And so we ended up representing that agent, that seller. Actually, the seller was an agent, and he decided that he would forego any commissions because he wanted to get the house. So we ended up going with that particular client because it was a cash offer and 0 contingencies, and he was going to take the tenants with the property. He didn't mind that the tenants were there, even though the tenants had been notified to vacate the property, but he was going to close within 10 days. So
So it's
we,
interesting. And he's probably also an investor then. So
yes,
like
he's an investor.
you two probably spoke the same language because you're an
Yes,
investor also. You just get it.
correct. So that was in a nutshell of it. And we actually are closing on that deal tomorrow morning.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's perfect. Let's talk about the numbers. We've gotten
Mhm.
a great insight on how you got the multiple offers and the benefits of pricing it right and putting it on this platform where others could see the offers, right?
Right.
Because you had those, did those 3 that submitted off the platform, did they try to submit a second offer, third offer, fourth offer?
On the platform,
Off the
people were
3
bidding
that
it up.
came off the platform.
No, off the platform, mm, the offers that came off the platform, they were just too low.
Did they try to come back to like, all right, I'm going to go higher since you're rejecting me?
Well, they did, but it still wasn't high enough. Once they will realize what the numbers were on the platform and adding the 6% on top of it, because that was going to go from 611.5 to now 648.49. So they realized, oh my goodness, they got to factor that number. So it's not just the winning bid number, but they had to add the 6% on top of that, and that just took them out of the ballpark. Because they had a certain number they couldn't go beyond. And so that number, along with the 6%, took them out of the competition.
Well, I think that's just something that's so great for the agent and probably the seller, right? Because the seller has to consider the offer and tell you whether they want to accept it or reject it or whatever. But just I
Right.
can imagine that probably streamlines your, hey, we have these other offers. We know some of the contingencies being offered or lack of contingencies being offered. If people wean themselves out, they don't want to keep placing a bid, that saves you time. It saves the buyer time, it saves the seller time.
Correct.
Because there's
And we
no
had
mystery.
options that were FHA, conventional, half 50% down, and cash. And the only ones we could not entertain were the VAs, because the VAs not going to allow their VA to come in with 6% on top of the whatever the winning bid is. So that was going to be a difficult challenge to do that. So we didn't get any VAs, but we did have FHAs and we did have conventionals, 3%, 3.5% down. But even with those numbers, they still realized they could not compete with the cash buyers. And because we had people who actually wanted to move in the house and fix it up and live in it because they wanted that community. Their numbers were not high enough, especially with a cash buyer with no contingencies, that was going to be beneficial to the seller to select that winning bid.
So you ended up choosing what was best for your seller, and it was a high bid. It wasn't the highest bid. Let's talk
Right.
the numbers for you and for the seller at the end of the day.
Correct.
Let's talk the numbers. So
Okay.
when you walked away, what was the final price that you accepted? What were the final terms? What did you walk away with and how?
So that's a great question. So here's how it looked at. So we initially started at 550. We ended up at 611,500, and you added 6% on top of that. That turned out to be 648,900, 690, something like that, which is obviously the commission that goes towards the platform and the agents and stuff like that. So in essence, from the listed price, the seller ended up getting about $61,000 more than he initially factored on when he initially listed it. So that's $60,000 more. And he didn't have to pay a commission. So that saved him $36,000.
Because
Uh,
it goes the other way, right? When you're doing this on the easy platform, the number that the seller accepts is minus any whatever fees. They're not working downward from that number to pay a commission out of their equity
correct.
anymore. The how
Correct.
you get paid comes out outside of that. It comes from the buyer
Absolutely.
premium.
And so, and what happens is, because even if I was to list that property at 610,000, and let's say they got an offer accepted on the traditional way, and the seller's paying a 5 to 6% commission. And traditionally, if he got a bid or an offer, he accepted at 611,000, right? He still would have to pay 36,000. So he's taking it down by 36,000 of what he would have netted from the transaction. So that additional 61,000 at 611 with no commission puts another 36,000 back into his pocket versus taking away from his pocket. So now as agents, okay, and this happened to be, I represent both parties, but even if I didn't, that means there's commission of over $36,000 that's there for the agents to receive. And 1% goes to the platform up to $5,000. So there was an additional $1,100 that the platform basically, I won't say forfeited, but
They said, "You
allowed
keep it, Alton.
we keep it in a positive
Send out
way.
more postcards."
Right, right. They covered my cards. It covered my postcards, mailers, and stuff like that. So we ended up making about 31,000 and some change on that transaction. And this is stuff that's done in less than a month from the time that we hit the platform, went on the market, closing 10 days or so, and closing that deal. We started in April and we're going to finish in April and still have a few days, about a week left over of the month, and that transaction is closed. So this makes for a great spring, a great start to the second quarter of the year, because of the easy platform provides that service. Now, after the deal was done, I got so many calls from people who said, "Well, man, that's a great idea. How did you do that? How can I get involved in something like that platform?" Because it's everyone's going back to the NAR situation and having a different option of listing agents and buyers agents being able to guarantee their commission some kind of way. And I tell you, there's nothing wrong with the buyer willing to pay that 6% because they want the property, period, point blank.
They know the final number price
They know the final number.
regardless.
Absolutely. And so this is another way they're justifying in their head to say that this is a program that can help benefit them. Another tool in your toolbox that you can use should you want to. But the good news is the seller, out of the whole thing, had the options to accept, counter, or not accept at all, and take it back to a traditional transaction. It was totally up to them. They're sellers in total control. But if they've gotten offers 60,000 above what they were thinking they were going to receive, and they're paying no commission, why would they walk away from something like that?
Well, and being able to negotiate. So this sounds like, what was it, like a tired landlord that just didn't want this property anymore? Because he said they were tenants. Even if
He
it was a traditional, like it was this someone, there was their primary residence and they want to relocate. So they want to sell and they want to be able to buy again and they don't want to be stuck with two mortgages.
right.
Being able to see these offers in real time and know the contingencies, have that easy communication, which you're handling for them, the
Mhm.
communications. But if on the back of your mind, the seller needs someone that can close and won't fall through because they need this deal to go through to move into the house they want to move into 30 days from now.
And
That
this
transparency is just as important for different types of sellers and buyers. Yes.
Well, yeah, it was definitely a tired landlord, and it was a couple of tenants that weren't paying him for the room rate, and so he was very frustrated with that. Was going through an eviction process with one of them, and he's just like retired kind of guy. He just sick and tired. He just wants to be done with it because he had a mortgage still on the property, and so he says, "Look, if I can sell this house and buy me another property cash, and that way I have no mortgage and no tenants." I would be better off. The only reason why he was having tenants is because he had a high mortgage and he couldn't afford it on his Social Security income. Get some cash, buy another place for cash, and live very modest and enjoy his grandkids. That's what he wanted to do. So we're in the process of helping him right now find his next property. So it went from a listing that we were selling and it's going to be sold by tomorrow, that he's going to be purchasing another property in the general area for cash. And so he's going to benefit in that aspect of it. And that is serving your clients the way we're supposed to serve them.
Yeah, and you've got repeat business from all angles, from your marketing, from this investor that purchased could be a new contact for you. If he flips anything and wants to sell, he could be like, "Can you do that again? Can you help me sell this time?"
Correct.
And then you're obviously the seller is now buying something new. Like that to me is incredible.
Yeah, it was
From
fun.
one
It was
deal,
very
from
fun.
one listing.
One listing.
And Alton, just out of curiosity, you mentioned that literally it seemed like half were not represented. Are you talking to any of those unrepresented buyers that showed up?
Yeah, we're talking to all of those buyers, rather it's through email, text, phone calls. We have a team that's following up because the fortune is in the follow up. And you don't let that stuff go. You got to be on top of it right away. And we've gotten people who are now we're looking for properties for them. I've had people contacted me based on my contact to them, and they've given me their criteria of things that I mean, literally, my phone has been blowing up between phone calls and texting. And these are people, one guy's got like $1.5 million that he has cash. He's looking for some project right now. So, and another one's got $1 million. So these are people who are astute and understand that we have a system. And this system allows us to be able to make it easy for them to get properties on the market quickly as they can. So it was fun.
One of the other things I'd like to talk about, Alton, is let's talk about when you first heard about the Easy Real Estate platform and you joined because you were excited. Maybe tell everybody the amount of time it took you with your skepticism, right? And then tell everybody maybe what it was like once you just ripped the band-aid off and said, I'm doing it. Can you explain maybe that journey real quick?
Yeah, I can. I think it was around June that I heard about the platform and our team out here in South Bay area. And we were introduced by one of our leaders in our company. And it just made so much sense when I saw it. But I was like, well, how am I going to be able to? I've been licensed for 21 years now as an agent, and I have never heard of anything remotely. I think I did one time, one auction at like a Kennedy Wilson auction thing with a client of mine went to an auction. That was my one and only experience. And they got the property that they were looking for. I think they overpaid for it. And this was like almost 20 years ago at the time. And I never had experienced any type of auction, but there was a difference because this was not an auction. This was a bidding platform. And you got to get that in your mindset that it's not an auction. It's a bidding platform. So that was the hiccup. But when I first saw it, I said, okay, I got to get certified. So I was on my way with my wife to go pick up our young son university up in Santa Cruz. And I live in Riverside County. And it was like a 7.5, 8 hour drive. So I made a deal with my wife. I said, you drive and I'll take these classes watching Dave on video on my internet while she's driving. So I took that class, watching the videos all the way up there. And by the time we're on the way back, I was taking the test. So that was my experience getting certified because I was on the road to Santa Cruz and on the road back to Riverside to get certified. Because I figured if I got the time, I might as well do it right now. But I decided to really put my time to work to my advantage. And that's why I took the certification course then. Fast forward, Melvin Burrell, one of our leaders in our team, had done 2 or 3 easy platform transactions. And I was like, I can't let him beat me. I can't let him beat me. There's no way I'm going to let this joker beat me on deals and he's making his money. It's so simple. I said, so what do I got to do? I have to strike up a conversation. I'm pretty good at talking to people and winning people over and making sense. My former background being in law enforcement, I was a cop for 38 years. So I got people to do things that they didn't want to do because I had the law on my side. But one of the things I learned is how to ask questions. And I think the questions you need to ask people that can lead people to the decision that's good for them, that's all about value-based selling. And that's what I looked at this whole thing as providing value to be able to sell to somebody an idea of selling their home for 0% commission to give them not lacking on any service. But it took me a while to wrap that around my head, probably 6, 7 months, more than that, 8 months, Dave, until I got my first deal. Okay. And so I was a little knucklehead. I wasn't resisting it. I knew it made sense, but I couldn't bring myself to say it because I didn't want to be looked at as one of those 2% discount brokers. And here I'm doing it for 0%. So I put more barriers on myself thinking that the seller was going to overthink and think that what I was thinking was that this has got to be real cheap, that you're not going to give me service. It's going to be a waste of time. And then I start seeing Melvin's transaction occur. And I says, you know what? What can I lose? Let me go ahead and give it a try. And then double pop 2 of them in one weekend. So it makes sense. It's basically getting out of my own way, Dave, and then just going ahead and buying into the idea. It would be a perfect scenario for those for sale by owners, as well as those expired listings, because the listing people, sometimes it expired because of the price is too high. And if the price is too high, if they took away the commission and you lowered that, and it made sense for them to say, okay, well, you can sell my house with 0% commission, and I can probably make more money selling to you at a lower price to get more eyeballs on it. So just because you price the property at a 10, 15% below market, doesn't mean you're going to sell it at a 10 or 15% below market. It's when you price it too high and you're only going to get maybe a handful of people, 4 or 5 people looking at it, versus if you price it 15% below, that can get you 50, 60, 100, 200 people looking at it. Because if you got 200 people looking at your property coming to an open house, guess what? That house is sold. It's depending on who you're going to select as
Because
the
just
person
like
who's
you
going to buy.
you don't want Melvin to beat you, all those people in the audience here looking at this house don't want to be beat out by the other person making the offer.
Correct.
It's psychology. It's
It
basic
is.
psychology. And I've prospected. I used to make prospecting calls. I've made thousands and thousands of calls to FSBOs and expireds and old expireds. And it used to be that multiple offer thing. When you explain it, you'd get that listing appointment. They would
Yeah.
get it. They would finally be like, oh, okay, I get it. But if you also had that little sprinkle of, hey, and I can do this for 0% commission. And let me tell you how this easy platform works, where there's a
Mhm.
fee instead of
Mhm.
you paying a commission out of your equity. That's the other side that you just laid out. If I had that when I was an ISA back in 2017, 2018, like I can't imagine someone would have said, no, I'm not interested ever.
Right.
It
Right.
solves all the problems.
Yeah, and I think people, the platform, great as it is, we still have to do work, Dave, on our end. We still have to provide that service because you can say, "Oh yeah, I'll just put it on the easy offer platform." No, you still got to do some work because you got to get people to know where to look for it. Because if you don't show people, even on the MLS, you got to still show people where to go because they have to follow very specific instructions. Because if they don't read the details in the remarks, where to know to go to get the rules of the platform, then it's all for naught because now you're going to limit yourself on people being able to see it. And so we've had people, and I did what we in our system, we use KV Core, right? And I did what it calls a KV Core boost. It cost me $60 for doing a KV Core boost to put it on Facebook and run a campaign for $60 automatically, which I think I got like 13 leads just from KV Core boost in 1 week. And that's just KV Core. That's not with just the regular MLS. That's not just what's on Redfin or homes.com. All those sites out there doing it, plus its own property website. And I'm promoting it to my spirit. People like, I can't believe you got 175 people. They're still in disbelief, Dave. Today, they're still in disbelief. I said, but you got to do the work. And the fortune is in the follow-up. So once we see those bids that we get them in, the 33 bids that came in, you still got to do homework. You got to go back and do a round robin. You got to call those people up. You got to let them know. Thank you very much for your bid, this, that, and the other. The seller's looking at offers like now. Is there a way you could come up on your bid? And we're at this, where can you come up? Oh, can you eliminate these terms? Can you limit? You got to do some work as an agent, as a professional, to be able to get your client, which is the seller, the best buyer. That's
And
going
I'd
to
say
be
always, not
Mhm.
even just with one platform versus the other, just
Correct.
always. Like you should be marketing your open house. You should be
Yes.
following up on these offers because what's the point? Why should a seller hire you if you're not going to ask someone, are you willing to go a little higher? That's like the basic thing I would expect my listing agent to do for me,
Right.
right?
Right.
And if I'm doing a summary of this, Alton, if I'm hearing everything that you've said right,
Mhm.
you spent roughly about $560 marketing this home. You spent about an hour putting up about 45 signs on streets around the open house. You spent 3 hours at the open house with your daughter and some help, making sure everybody signed in. You got 70 some people that you're talking to, 9 different buyers that are serious, a couple more sellers, and on top of that, a person that you just sold that you're selling them another home. So $560 in about 4 hours of your time, hard
Mhm.
work time, right?
Mhm.
Not messing around, hard work.
Right.
You literally open the opportunity to about 80 other opportunities legitimately, 10 to 12 that are for real now working,
Mhm.
right? And then if I did mishear you, you sold it at about 611, 612. The cap from the platform was 5 grand. So you literally picked up an additional $1,200 off the 1%.
Mhm.
So if I'm doing quick math, you literally doubled the money that you spent on marketing in just extra funds from the platform.
Exactly.
That's
Absolutely.
that's incredible. It's
It's a
incredible.
wonderful world.
Does it bum you out that you didn't start 9 months ago now?
Yeah, it does. The old say is when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah.
And the timing is everything. And I think it was at the right time too. And now that we know what we know, we can't go back. So I lead always with the easy offer platform, 0% commission program. And now I got people calling me wanting to outside our company that want to get involved and get certified for this. So we're talking about some things that we're looking at doing as an affiliate that we want to hopefully press forward with soon enough to be able to make sure we get the right people. Because I think the platform is for everybody, but sometimes you may not have the right people. And I think we don't want to, we want everyone to be involved in it, but we want them to do the right thing. Don't use it as a tool for evil because we want to use it as a tool for good to help people. You must do the right thing to serve your client. Have a servant's heart. Go in there leading with your heart, not with just dollar bills, because there's going to be a point where in time you're going to make a decision that you got to represent your client correctly. And if you don't, it can backfire and you can give the platform a bad name. And we don't want that to happen. I think this is a great tool that we have. No other persons, other companies are doing anything remotely close like this. I have another client that referred me to a gentleman that's got two properties in the city of Inglewood that must get rid of. He's at a point where he's going to lose it at a foreclosure if he doesn't act. He actually filed bankruptcy just to stop the foreclosure, but he's got two properties worth over 800,000 each that as is that he wants to sell, and he needs to get it on a platform because I know I can guarantee him that I can get 200 people to the open house to get these properties.
With the urgent
Absolutely.
situation.
Absolutely. So we're talking with him right now. And hopefully in the next this week or so, we are going to get those two listings. They're back to back.
One more question, Alton. So 20 plus years in the business, right?
Right.
Could you honestly say that this has been the easiest process for you to make the maximum most amount of money on a deal?
Oh, absolutely. Without question. And the support I got from Michelle and the back office was just stellar. You may think you're by yourself, but you're not. Some companies only work during business hours and you only get like a chat person or an email. Michelle was on speed dial. She made sure I needed to have what I needed to have, and I needed to make sure she had what she needed. We had the huge support. It's the most money I made in the easiest way using this platform, bar none. I don't know any other way where I've transact real estate transactions in 20 years where this was the most simplest, easiest way to do it. That's why it's called easy offer because it was easy and we got offers and we got more clients to follow up with to be able to continue our business of selling more real estate out there. And now people see this as a breath of fresh air because they're all nervous nannies about this NAR situation, but I'm not worried about that. That NAR situation does not affect me at all. If you're a great listing agent and you're doing the right thing for your client, people will come to you. And in most cases, yes, you're going to split. In most cases, you're going to split the commission with another agent, which is fine. That's the way it's supposed to be anyway. But in some cases, you're not going to have to because people are going to forego that and say, hey, I don't have an agent. Can you help me? And the answer is yes, we can. But even when you do that, you're always on guard to represent each person in the right way.
The easy platform is real estate made easy for everyone. So
Mhm.
if you're watching this and you need to buy or sell a house, whether you have an urgent situation or you just want to make sure you're getting a fair look at the fair market value of your house, it's so easy. Just go to easyrealestateoffer.com. We even have a shorthand link, easy RE, short for real estate offer.com. If you're an agent, a broker, and you want to look at this platform and consider being able to use it yourself, easy to get certified.com. It's that simple. If you are in Alton, can you tell us the markets you serve? We know Covina, we know Englewood. If someone's in that
Woo!
area, how they can
Yeah,
contact you.
yeah, absolutely. I serve the Riverside primarily area, Corona, Los Angeles, because that's where I do a lot of my house flipping out there. Covina. Basically, anywhere in LA County, Orange County, Riverside County, and San Bernardino County. So those are the counties that we're in, because I'm usually within an hour driving distance of all of them. And how they can reach me is I have a website, homesbyaltonjones.com. That's my website, homesbyaltonjones.com. They can email me at alton.jones@exprealty.com. That's Alton, ALTON.jones@exprealty.com. And our phone number is area code 562-900-0822.
Awesome. And Dave, I know sometimes you're a co-founder here of the Easy Real Estate platform, but you will pull out your cell phone if someone has a question. Even if one of our Easy certified agents is on a listing appointment and they just hit a rut and they're like, help me, please. You will pick up that phone.
The one thing nice about our company is we don't hide. As you heard Alton say, you can call us just about any time of the day or the night. The nice thing is I'm on the East Coast. My partners and some of our workers are on the West Coast. So you could be early in the morning and you get me. You could be late at night and you can get Michelle. So these things are pluses in our company. And the big thing for us, and Alton said it best, we're just trying to do what's right for everybody the best way we know how. And I can say with strong feelings that if the real estate had been conducted the last 5 years like this, I don't believe there would have been an R lawsuit that was here this way. It just benefits the buyers, the sellers, and the agents better than anything else. It's so transparent.
Yeah, this next step, anything you need, all of the contact information that you heard for how to get connected with the Easy platform, check it out. How to get connected with Alton for anything in Los Angeles County. Or even if you want to get connected with an agent that's part of his team that might service other areas, contact him. If you're looking outside of California and want to look for an agent, or are looking for a house to buy, or want to become an Easy certified agent, contact Dave or visit one of the links in the description below. Alton, I've heard your story a few times. It brings me joy to hear it every time, because like your daughter was happy to be helping you. Your daughter made a little money out of this. The tired landlord got out of their deal. You have a real estate agent who's also an investor that ends up getting a new property in a new way that hopefully they're excited about. They seemed excited about it from your telling of the story. You're catching up to your buddy Melvin. So,
I
we just
need
need
to.
a couple more closings, and you got to
Yeah.
let us know when you surpass him.
And
We got to
Alton,
pass somebody.
Alton, and I got to tell you, get your buyer and seller to do a quick video for you. It will be marketing gold.
Yeah, I
gonna do
love
that.
to hear it.
I'm
Yeah.
going to do that
Awesome.
this week because he's excited. He's so excited. So definitely both those guys. So we're going to work on that today, because you're right. I need that exhalation.
Listen, even if you do it on your a cell phone as a selfie,
Yeah.
get it down, because
You're right. You're right.
marketing gold for you, man.
I'm going to be doing that tomorrow.
Hey guys, if you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, make sure you subscribe and follow, not just to keep up with what's going on with the Easy platform, but anything Alton updates. We'll give you an Alton update specifically. So thanks so much for tuning in,
Thank
guys.
you.
Again, links
Thank
are
you,
in
Alton.
the description.